Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Wednesday, June 13th, 2012. Well, in about 25 minutes, New York time, Jamie Dimon is going to be appearing in front of a congressional subcommittee. Mr. Dimon is the chairman and chief executive officer of J.P. Morgan Chase, and he's going to be explaining how that $2 billion suddenly disappeared from their balance sheet. He's going to be explaining how the derivative trades that were done by the whale of London, so to speak, were done without the bank's oversight, and in fact how nobody in the bank understood the trades. He's going to have a lot to answer for. Mr. Dimon has gotten way out in front of this issue and has publicly done his mea culpa, so he's most likely going to remain unscathed. Beginning tomorrow in Vienna, OPEC is going to be having a very important meeting. It's going to be a meeting that's going to show the divisions between its members. Saudi Arabia is keen to keep a lid on prices by keeping production high. Iran and Iraq, two countries that have traditionally been at odds with each other, to say the least, are attempting to cut production and thus increase prices. Thursday's meeting is also going to have a geopolitical dimension as well, because the United States and the European Union have banned the import of Iranian oil. The Europeans come online on July 1st. The American decision to cut back on Iranian imports have already cut back exports of Iranian oil from 2.5 million barrels a day to about 1.2 million now. Once the European effort comes online on the 1st of July, it's going to be even worse. The Iranians have warned the Saudis not to use oil as a weapon by increasing supplies to countries that it can no longer export to. The Saudis indicate that that's not their intention, that, quote, we do not sit around and say we want to sell to this country or that country or whatever. Either way, it's going to be a very interesting meeting. Meanwhile, in Iraq today, car bombs killed at least 50 people, mainly Shia Muslim pilgrims. In northern Africa, the Tunisian government has imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew in 8 areas of the country, including the capital, after rioting blamed on ultra-conservative Salafi Muslims left dozens of police officers injured. There was an earthquake of 4.9 on the Richter scale in northern Taiwan today. This is the 3rd quake in the area in as many days. There have been no reports of any damage or injuries, no reports of any tsunami effect. The quake was located about 27 kilometers south of Taiyuan County Hall. There's a new CEO and president of Arch Reinsurance Europe. He is Mamoun Rajeh. He's going to become the CEO effective on July 1. He assumes his new position from Hamilton, Bermuda-based Arch Reinsurance Limited, where he was serving as chief underwriting officer since 2005. Well, the Insurance Day Summit in Bermuda is underway. Insurance Day is sponsoring it down there, and at the kickoff address, Bermuda insurance industry veteran Michael Butt had some very interesting comments. Mr. Butt is well known in the industry and has made a great deal of money and has enjoyed much success in the industry in Bermuda. He said if there's one thing he's learned from nearly 50 years in the business, it's the importance of knowing exactly, quote, who owns the risk. If that in any way is unclear, it leads to a lack of discipline and potential disaster. He said capitalism breaks down when the ownership of a risk becomes opaque and unaccountable. If there's no ownership of risks, discipline disappears. He said the insurance industry had learned this lesson the hard way in the aftermath of the Piper Alpha North Sea oil rig explosion in 1988, which cost 167 lives. Alarming deficiencies in exposure monitoring became clear as insurance claims were processed in Lloyd's London insurance market. Translation, nobody knew who was on the risk. He said, I think if you look at what happened in the credit derivative crisis of 2007 and 2008, you see many similarities. So my main message to everyone here today is understand your risk, where it is, and who owns it. If you don't know that, take cover and get out of the way, because somebody's going to screw up. From your lips to God's ears, Mr. Butt. He also said that climate risk is something I'm spending a lot of time on now, and it's something that, in my view, the industry is going to be spending a lot of time on soon with extreme events. The UN Health Agency has classified diesel engine exhaust as carcinogenic to humans. Why did this take so long? If you've ever been behind a diesel bus, you probably are scratching your head. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the World Health Organization, announced the classification yesterday after a week-long meeting. For nearly a quarter of a century, diesel exhaust was classified as, quote, probably carcinogenic to humans. Now the scientific evidence is compelling, and it is now the group's unanimous conclusion that diesel engine exhaust does cause lung cancer in humans. 4 years ago today, NBC newsman Tim Russert passed away of a massive heart attack in the NBC studio in Washington, D.C. We remember him today. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.